Now let's move to the second part of our lesson today, which is writing. We are talking here about writing functional or functional writing. So there are many steps for writing an informal letter. We are going to start with the informal letter. Address and date. The address and date should be written in the right hand corner. After you have written the address, leave a line and write the date. I know in the exam, okay, they don't provide you with the address and date, so you just have to know where can you write the address and the date in case they provide you with them in the exam, so you would be ready, okay, and have the knowledge where to write them. How would we start our informal letter? The first part of the letter is salutation. How can you start this? How can you salute, okay, your recipient or the target audience you are writing the letter to? Before writing your salutation, you got to decide what kind of letter you are writing. Is it formal or informal? Because it differs. If you are writing a formal letter, it has a certain kind of salutation. If you are writing an informal letter, it has a different way to start. Okay, so here the most common salutation in an informal letter, you can say dear or hi. But let me remind you here, if you are starting with dear, you got to write the name of the person you are writing to without any titles. For example, if you are writing to Muhammad, you say Dear Muhammad, Dear Jasim, Dear Ali. You can't put any titles before the names because it's an informal letter. Or you can, instead of writing there, you can just write Hi Muhammad, Hi Ali. So here there are two ways to start your informal letter, or to put your salutation using there plus the name without any titles, or you use hi. Note that it's followed by a comma. After you finish Hi Ali, Hi Muhammad, Dear Jasim, you just put, okay, a comma. Like this example, Dear Mimi, we got a comma here. Don't forget this comma. The content of an informal letter. Introduction. The first paragraph will consist of an introduction which will give the recipient an idea about what you are writing to them with a short summary of the main topic of your letter. If you don't know the person you are writing to, you may want to introduce yourself in this introductory paragraph as well. The body. 2 or 4 paragraphs that consist of the message you want to get across with any details you may want to convey. So you got to paragraph your letter. The first paragraph is your introduction, and then you mean to the body, which could be 2 or 4 paragraphs, and then you got to the conclusion. The last paragraph will usually be the conclusion, where you wrap everything up. You can sum up your main idea in this paragraph. Thank the recipient for their time. Wish recipient good luck and or ask any questions. How can you end an informal letter? In informal letter writing, you can end your letter with love, bye for now, best wishes, missing you lots, yours forever, yours. So if you look through all these endings, you will find they are very familiar if you are talking to or writing to one of your friends, one of your family member, like your father, mother, sister, brother. So you can end this letter, okay, using one of these endings. Note that it's followed by a comma. After you put yours or yours forever or best wishes or bye for now, you just use a comma. Let's move to the second part, which is formal letters. As we talked before, we say that the address someone you don't know. We talk about work, business, or official subjects. Kinds of formalities, formal letters. What kind of business letter am writing? Letter question requesting information. So we got a layout for this. Put your address at the top right of the page. Write the date under the address. Under the date on the left of the page, write the name and address of the person or company you are writing to. Leave a line and write your greeting. At the end of the letter, print your name under your signature. Characteristics. Addressee means someone you don't know. We talk about work, business, or official kinds of informal letter. What kind of business letter I'm writing? Mainly for grade 12 advanced and foundation, we just have letter requesting information. This is the only letter that you got to write in the exam. So you don't have to talk about letter of application or letter of complaint or letter of regret, only, okay, letter requesting information. So we start with the address and date, salutation, body, complimentary clause, okay, and then you end your letter. How can I write the address and date? In the top left corner, the address and date of the person or company you are writing to. So on the left, in the top left corner, you are going to write the address of the recipient, the person you are writing to. In the top right corner, address and date, leave a line between the address and date. Okay, and we got an example here of how to write the address. Okay, so here writing the address, it means you got to start from the smallest unit to the bigger one. Okay, for example, if you are living at 25 Airport Street, Doha, Qatar, you got to start from the smallest to the bigger unit. You start with 25 Airport Street, then comma, then Doha, then Qatar. Okay, like here, Hillcrest Secondary School, P.O. Box 60453, Livingstone, Zambia, and then 1010-1. And then after you put your address, you write the date. Salutation. Now we are talking about the formal letter. How can you put a salutation in the formal letter? The most common salutation in a formal letter is dear. Note that it's followed by a comma. Dear Mr. or Ms. Harkness, if you know that name. Dear Sir or Madam, not dear Manager if you don't know the name. So, we got a note here. This is a formal letter. If you are writing a formal letter and you don't know the names of people you are writing to, you just write Dear Sir or Madam. If you know their names, you can write Dear Mr. or Ms. It depends on their titles. But please be careful. You have to use the titles before the names if you are writing to someone you know, because it's very important, because it's a formal letter. Now have a look at this. We got here the topic, the formal reason, enclosure, contact, complementary clause. If you are ending this letter, okay, the formal letter I mean, you got to say, I look forward to hearing from you, or yours faithfully, if you don't know the name, or yours sincerely, if you know the name. In any case, you got to end your letter with yours faithfully or yours sincerely. So, you may ask me, what's the difference between formal and informal? Here, the style, okay, is very important because it differs in the formal letter, okay, than the informal letter. In the formal letter, use formal language. Don't use contractions or abbreviations. Use modals such as would, should, could. Don't use colloquial language. Structure and content. You must always give a clear reason for writing. And this is what we say at the beginning of the letter. I'm writing this letter to. Mainly if we are talking about grade 12 advanced or foundation, your letter that you're going, or email that you're going to write in the exam is called letter requesting information. So the main reason that you're writing for is to ask for some information about a certain topic. So it's better to start with I'm writing this letter to request information about. Use linkers with and but, because. Divide the letter into clear paragraphs. Look at this. Here we got some useful language. Okay, for example, if you are greeting, you say, dear Mr., Miss, if you know the name. You say, dear sir or madam, not dear manager. Reasons for writing. I'm writing to ask you, to apply, to complain. Use some formal expressions like I would like, could you send me, I'm afraid. And then if you got something enclosed with your letter, you can say I enclose my CV. And then write your contact. Please contact me if you need any more information. Closing with, I look forward to hearing from you, yours faithfully or yours sincerely, as I said before. And we got some sample. You can have a look at this sample. Here we got two addresses. Okay. Here the address of the recipient, and this is your address on the corner in the top right. And there we got the start here, dear Mr. Parker, so it means it's okay, a very formal letter. And we got another example here. Here, okay, this is how can you divide your letter. We have letters, memo, and emails. Three genres you will encounter most often in the workplace. Reflect the image of you and your company. Act as the rubber to larger technical documents. When you encounter a new genre, remember the two most important elements to the technical communication: audience and purpose. Letter conventions. We have all this most formal of the three genres addressed to someone in another organization, always concluding with a signature in an ink. The rhetorical art of letter writing intended to incite the action. It could be said that they emphasized the practical application of rhetoric over theoretical consideration, and that in practical orientation became increasingly dominant. So if you look at the memo, okay, it's less formal and shorter than letter, so it's semi-formal. Based on, used most often for communication within one organization. Least formal of the three genres, replacing memos because of its technological advantages. Always professional and free of errors. And you got an example here for the email. So for us, the email and letter are not that different, except you write in the email to subject and CC. We got only in the grade 12 advanced, just the inquiry letter. So there are some hints for you when you start writing. Consider the email to an expert, respectfully, friendly, and professional. Complaint letter. We are not going to have complaint letter this semester. There are some other hints. Okay. congratulate and thank with you. Okay, your company always provides the best advice. Okay, don't use you when giving bad negative. Your shoddy work produced a bad toaster. Okay, so there are some expressions that are not good when you are writing. You must have dropped the engine. The housing is badly cracked. So here you is not good. But better if you say the badly cracked housing suggested that your engine must have fallen into a hard surface from some height. Purposeful. Okay, introduction. The first line should clarify the topic, purpose. So here, as I said before, I'm writing this letter to request some information about. No more than 5 or 4 lines, okay, but we say you can just extend your writing for 2 papers, it's okay. Avoid diving into details too early or before the purpose of communication is mentioned. Review the context after you just finish. Okay, just make a kind of editing for your writing. We are forgetful and busy people. Your reader may be not familiar with the situation. Follow a good news first strategy. Use a reader-centered strategy. It means you concentrate on your reader. Organize your paragraphs logically. State the subject and purpose. Explain the problem in details. Describe how the problem inconvenienced you. State what you would like the reader to do. Thank the reader for his or her response. Provide contact information. Keep your paragraphs short. If you don't have any information that are necessary, don't include them in your letter. Use heading, lists, and tables. Have an active conclusion. Tell your reader what you want. Okay, give your contact information. Hey, be nice. Emoting is sensitive. Be nice when you start writing. Pay attention to your tone. Have a brief state your purpose. Review the context. If writing responds to some other communication, repeat the details of the context. Follow a good news first. You start with good news, then move to bad news. Use reader-centered strategy. Reader and writer usually have a mutual goal. They both want something. Both parties needs to feel they have gained something. Organize your paragraph, what we call paragraphing. It means that your introduction should be in a paragraph and then your body should be in 2 or 4 or 3 paragraphs, and then you end with a paragraph for the conclusion. Keep your paragraphs short, fewer than 8 lines. Okay, use 11 points. Okay, you can extend as I said before. Okay, now let's talk about writing a memorandum. What's the memorandum? A memorandum is considered inside correspondence. It means a kind of correspondence inside a company or an organization like a school. Mainly from the manager to the staff to tell them a message. It's written to someone in your company. Advantages of the memos. Memos are quick, inexpensive, convenient. A written record. Memorandum. A memo is less formal than a letter, so we call it semi-formal. It usually conveys one idea. It's likely to be short. Effective memos are clearly written with the object stated in the first sentence. What's the purpose of the memo? To inquire, to inform, to report, to remind, to transmit, to promote goodwill. We got some questions here. You should be able to answer several questions regarding your memo. Exactly, why are you writing the memo? What's the purpose of this memo? Is the person you are writing to in a position to make a decision? Do you state your objectives immediately? Check your memo. It's easy to find the main point. Would it help to underline, indent, or bullet the main point? Does your memo have plenty of white spaces for easy readability? Have you removed unnecessary words? Is your memo filled with technical jargon? Is it positive? Does it step on anyone's toes? A memo should be designed to get your message across quickly. Busy people don't want to waste time reading unnecessary information. So you put all these notes in your mind when writing a memo. Organization of the memo: statement of purpose, message, statement of future action. Especially formatting and mechanical techniques. Use enumeration to list your important items. Use solid capitals and centering to emphasize important details. Use columns with heading to make reading and understanding easier. Special formatting and mechanical techniques. Use underlining and side heading to show natural breaks. Use bullets to emphasize several points. Use boldface and italics when appropriate. Use color coding to attract the attention. Important nevers in the memo. Never write memo or any other communication which are unnecessary. Never write complicated, hard to understand memo. Keep them simple to the point. Never write rude, blunt, or thoughtless memos. Never send memos that have typos, misspelled words, or grammatical error. They are a poor reflection on you, right? Important nevers in the memo. Never waste space with unnecessary introductory material. Belong in. Never leave out the necessary details causing people to have to follow up with the questions. Never use closing line or signature in a memo. The basic parts of the memo are to, from, date, subject. So here you state who you are writing to and who are you, the person who is writing the memo, and the date of the memo, and what is the memo about, what's the purpose of the memo, and the body of the memorandum, single spaced. Reference initials. Make sure the memo is clear, concise, correct, concrete, complete. Make sure memorandum is well placed, has correct punctuation and spelling. Be sure the memo states the purpose clearly, present message effectively, uses courteous tones, give reader complete, accurate details, concludes appropriately. Thank you very much. I hope you got benefit from this.